Manage your stress, you guys. Stress, we know, on a physiological level triggers us to eat. It makes our brain center tell us that we're more hungry. Our appetite center says we're more hungry, and at the same time it makes us more resistant to a hormone our stomach produces called leptin. Leptin tells us when we're full. So when we're more stressed, we feel more hungry, less full. So we tend to overeat. And, we all choose our favorite foods that we can overconsume when we're more stressed. And this is a difficult time, not only just because of the requirements that we have on family commitments, the requirements in our head, what we're going to do this year. And so it's a lot more additional stress on top of just our normal things. So I encourage you guys right now to start thinking about, how do I manage my stress better? Whether it's I practice more deep breathing, I do more physical activity, I get more sleep. So how many hours of sleep do you think an adult needs a day? 8. 7 to 9. So around that 8. Some adults need 9 hours of sleep. So you guys get 7 on a consistent basis. Yay! Yay! So 7 is the minimum an adult needs. So really getting enough sleep is important. And when we sleep, our body breaks down stress hormones, so we feel less stressed the next day. So it's really an important part of maintaining your health overall. And inadequate sleep is linked to overweight conditions. And then set realistic expectations for yourself. Don't put expectations that are unnecessary or set the bar so high that you couldn't achieve. Make sure that you're being balanced with this time of year so that you don't feel at the end of the year, oh, I didn't get this done, or this didn't go the way I expected or wanted it to. And stay active. Physical activity is so important for our health. It helps us to sleep better at night. It elevates our mood. It reduces anxiety. It gives us more energy. It lowers our blood pressure immediately. It reduces appetite. It helps improve our cholesterol levels. It helps us feel more energetic during the day. So lots of reasons to be active. So even if you can't get a full workout session, even getting 10 minutes of activity makes a difference. So getting your heart rate elevated, your breathing increased to the point you could talk, not sing, for 10 minutes gives you health benefits. So you don't have to spend an hour at the gym. Even walking outside for 10 minutes will help give you those benefits. And wash your hands often. So this is cold and flu season, right? So one of the ways to help stay healthy is to make sure you're frequently washing your hands. And you don't have to be obsessive about it, but shake people's hands during the day. You remember, as soon as you leave that meeting, you're going to go wash your hands, or you're going to use some of those hand sanitizers. And the hand sanitizers work best if you completely coat your hands until they're almost wet, and then you let them dry. So a lot of times we'll give ourselves that little tiny pump. We'll do just a little bit, and then it's not really enough. So we really got to completely coat our hands to make sure we're completely sanitized. And drink less calories, more water. And calories in liquid form don't make us feel full. And calories in alcohol form make us feel more hungry and can make us less inhibited. So we tend to not stick with our healthy eating plans when we're drinking more alcohol. And this time of year just tends to have alcohol more predominant. So really be careful of those alcohol calories because they really pack a punch. Record your calories. I know it may not sound like the most fun thing to do, and I think this is the most difficult task I ask anybody to do, but really paying attention to what it costs you to eat. I always think of calories like money because I think they're one and the same. It costs our body to eat. And so if you know what the value, the calorie content of the food you're putting in is, then you can make decisions of, okay, do I want this venti caramel macchiato, or would I be just as happy with the skinny, non-fat latte when I'm saving 400 calories? And so when you think of it like money, you kind of go, okay, what's the clearance section first? Is there anything I want there? Would I be just as happy with that side as I would with paying this much for something else? So recording your calories can really help you become more aware of what it costs you to eat. It can help you just identify where you're going over so you can make adjustments during the day. And it gives you this sense of commitment to what you're doing. And there's so many ways to record calories now. It's great apps like MyFitnessPal and Lose It. Tons of them out there that you can really just simply scan barcodes of foods and it dumps the nutrition information straight into your database and you just modify the portion. Makes it pretty easy. Or just pencil and paper. Just keeping a running total of where you are during the day on a sticky note. Okay, here I've had 100, here's 400. That way you really get an idea of, okay, how's this going through the day? So you can make adjustments. If you have no idea what it costs you to eat, how do you know where to make a change? And then budget your calories for an event. So eating less during that day can help, so you know how much you have to spend. Just like you save up for a fabulous pair of boots. Like, I want these pair of boots, I'm going to save up for it. And so you spend less in other places so you can afford it. Same thing with calories. Just spend less earlier in the day. Don't skip meals, but just eat a little less. That way you have the extra to spend later on. And keep in mind that alcohol and cocktails are empty calories, you guys, so really be cautious and alternate with something that's calorie-free. So if you're at an event that has alcohol, just say, okay, for every one, I'm going to have 2 calorie-free drinks. And that way you can get through the night without spending as many on the alcohol, which increases our appetite and lowers our resistance. And limit grazing. If you're taking little things throughout the day, kind of grazing along, you may consume more calories than you realize because you never get that full feeling. And you think, oh, I just had a small amount, and I just had a small amount, but we can total those up to be over our budget. And if you have someplace to go, then bring a healthy dish. Or if you're having people over, then serve something healthy that you know is super low calorie, that you can eat a lot of volume from, and then it won't cost you as much for the other things, or it won't make as big of a difference. So some healthy substitutions in ingredients, so reducing calories. So as humans, we like salt, sugar, and fat, right? So the more of that kind of stuff we can squeeze into food, the more we like it. So really looking at ingredients or looking at recipes and seeing, okay, how can I make some substitutions in these things? So I gave you guys the handout on the ingredient substitutions. So thinking about using plain non-fat or low-fat Greek yogurt in dips. Even if you don't like Greek yogurt, if you want to put some of it in the dip, it'll help reduce calories and kind of boost up the protein in the dip. Substituting vegetables for bread in recipes, using pumpkin puree or applesauce in place of baking. And I gave you guys kind of the ratios for doing that. Cooking sweet potatoes and orange juice instead of the Karo syrup can help. Using apple juice concentrate to add flavor to squashes and other vegetables. And then just using leaner meats. So extra lean ground turkey, 93% lean ground beef. And non-stick cookware to help minimize the amount of oil you have to cook with. And then modifying recipes using low-calorie or reduced-calorie or light or 2% or low-fat versions of your typical stuff. I will say that going fat-free is not always the best option because fat-free can mean taste-free. So trying to get still the flavor but saving some calories can help. Using egg whites or egg substitutes for whole eggs. And substituting the fat again with the applesauce, mashed banana, pureed pumpkin, other pureed fruits. Or replacing part of a solid fat with some other fat substitute like the applesauce. Or replace all of the oil in a recipe with another type of fat substitute. So you don't have to replace all of it, but just looking for how much you can. Your typical healthy routine is not going to be able to be completely duplicated when you travel, but having some semblance of regular routine. So trying to keep your breakfast as normal as possible, and maybe even your lunch, so every single meal doesn't have to be this full-on, I'm overdoing it, but trying to be as consistent as you can, at least with those 2 meals. Or if you're going to go out and meet people for lunch, then saying, okay, then I'm going to scale it back for dinner. I'm going to be pretty normal with dinner. And walk as much as you can, taking stairs everywhere you can go. Even taking stairs in hotels is possible so that you can get in some physical activity. Bringing snacks along with you, especially for your plane rides. Having things in your bag, because there's really very limited healthy choices at airports. So having something as a go-to, especially during holiday times when travel can get disrupted. So your typical flight may change, and then you're stuck. And then you're stuck with eating stuff that you wouldn't typically choose. So having some energy bars or some healthy snacks along with you can help. And then even purchase snacks when you get there. So investigate where you're going to go, see where the grocery stores are or where a Walgreens or CVS is, and know that once I get there that I'm going to make a little stop, pick up a few snacks, so I have some things along with me. And some non-food related holiday traditions can be developed this time of year. So we tend to see that we're so focused on the food that we kind of forget about what the time of year is about. So really thinking about how can I change some of that? How can I take some of the focus off of food and do some non-food related activities? So maybe you plan a scavenger hunt for your family, or you plan some physical activity after the big meal, whether we're going to go play soccer, or we've got a volleyball, or we're going to play frisbee, or we're all going to go for a walk, or looking at old family photos, having family members bring photos, their photo albums, and everybody sitting down and passing around the photo albums, or watching old home movies is always a great activity too. So make the holidays healthy, you guys. It doesn't have to be disastrous. That planning ahead and setting realistic goals makes a big, big difference. Keep in mind to manage your stress, drink plenty of water, get enough sleep, try to maintain as much of your normal routine as possible. And then when you get to January, you won't be setting these big resolutions. You're just continuing to practice what you do every day.